Welcome Tamers. Tonight I'll be doing a deck profile video on, I believe, one of my favorite decks from all of Digimon, which is Xros Heart. This deck came out in BT10. I didn't play it as much during BT10, but BT10 and forward, like BT11, I played it as much as I could just because it was an interesting mechanic. I do like the digi-crossing aspect of the deck, and then that it's multicolored. I've taken this deck to a lot of different tournaments, regionals. I even took it to, like, I think Nats last year. Didn't do that great on it, but it's a deck that I feel like it's very fun, and I do have a lot of fun playing it. With the announcement of BT17 and everything that's coming out, that's it. I'm really excited for the support that it's getting. I'll be going over the basic deck profile and then the cards that I most use. I tend to heavily lean more on the X7 side of the deck instead of the Merva-Cross. I never enjoyed the Merva-Cross, but X7, I feel like it's a good toolboxy card. Lets you get out a big stack, delete something on the opponent's side, and then it has blocker and piercing and reboot. So that's why I like the X7 more rather than Merva-Cross. And also there are some cards that I teched in that I saw on a Japanese list that I thought were like pretty interesting. But then to start it off, we'll go with the X, which is 4 copies of the Pikmin. Right now it's the best deck for the deck. There's no other deck that runs his deck essentially. And then it's when attacking, if Digimon has Xros Heart in its traits, you draw 1. Really good. Next up, we go into our rookies. We're only running 8 rookies. I think it's a 5 and then 9 rookies. There you go. We're running 1 copy of the Shot 1 Star Sword. It's a 5 cost 4 KDP Digimon. It evolves for 0 on a level 3 that's red, and then if it's a yellow level 2, it evolves for 1. Usually we don't digivolve in the back into the Pikmin over this one, just because it evolves for 1. It's also treated as if its name is Shot 1 and Starmon. It has material save 1. So when this Digimon will be deleted, you may place 1 card in this Digimon's Digicross requirements from this Digimon's Digimon cards under one of your Tamers. As a non-play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn, and then if you're Digicrossing with 2 cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 2k DP or less, and then it's Digicrossing with a Shotmon and a Starmon. So playing this for 3 by having both sources in hand is good. You get to minus 3k like a champion level Digimon, and then you get to pop it if it's 5k. Most Greymons are like 5k, unless they have like what's it called, a psych bond that won't let you Digicross. You're still doing it for 5, but you can still put the sources underneath and pop the psych bond, or the Chikurimon if it's the one that can reduce play costs, right? So we're running a copy of 1. Next up, we have the best level 3 in the deck, which is the Shotmon, BT10 Shotmon. It's a 4 cost 2k, and then it digivolves for 0 with if it has a Xros Heart in its trait switch, the Pikmin does. And then on play, real top 3 cards of your deck. You have 1 Digimon card and 1 Tamer card with both with Xros Heart in their traits among to your hand. Then you place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. And then on deletion, save. That means you could place this card under one of your Tamers when it dies. And then this is what makes the card really good. It's the inherit, which is, well, this Digimon has Shotmon in its name. During your turn, it gains rush. So whatever cross plays we're doing, we will have that rush guaranteed, because most of the things we're crossing with have Shotmon in their name. All right, so we're running this one at 4. Next, we have 2 copies of Starmon. It's a 3 cost 1k. It goes for 0 on top of a level 2 with Xros Heart in its traits, and then on deletion, save. This one's the second best one, because inherit is when attacking, if Digimon has Shotmon in its name, you draw 1. So you get that extra draw when you're crossing into your X3s, X4s, X5s, X7s, right? You get that extra draw when swinging. Run this one at 2, and then since we're running the 1 copy of Shaman Star Sword, since this one's considered a Starmon, that would be like a 3rd one. Next, we're only running 2 copies of Sparrowmon. It's a 4 cost 2k. Evos for 0 on top of a Xros Heart in its traits. And then all turns, while you have another Digimon or Tamer with Xros Heart or Twilight in its trait in play, this Digimon gets 3000 DP. So this is essentially a 5k Digimon. So when you're swinging and you have a Tamer or you have another Digimon that you just played out, it'll have that 3k boost. So it'll be always swinging for 5k. And then on deletion, save. And then any hard effect this opponent's turn, while the Digimon is Shoutmon, has Shoutmon or Mervamon in its name, gains reboot. This is a good way for you to restand after you swing. So running this one at 2. Next up, we're going to our level 4s. We are running 4, 7, 10, 14 level 4s. So we have 1 copy of Shoutmon X4. This one's restricted, so you're only running 1 copy in the deck. So 9 costs 8k. It digicrosses, -2 for both Shoutmon, Ballista, Darulu, and Starmon. So you're playing this one for 1. As a material save 2. On play, you just draw 2. What agreed. Then end of attack by placing all Digimon cards from this Digimon under one of your Tamers. Unsuspend one of your Tamers and delete this Digimon. So if you manage to survive the check, you get to restand whatever Tamer is suspended. Put all sources underneath, and then you delete the Digimon. And you could go and do it again with the next 3, next 5. Right, so this one's a good way for you to get that draw and also resend Tamers that are suspended to either gain you a memory, get you a draw, or just cross again. So really good card. I wish it wasn't restricted, but it is pretty fast. Next, we're running 3 copies of the X3. This one's a 7 cost 6k, has a material save 2. Start your turn by deleting Digimon, you gain a memory. And then on play, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Add 2 cards with Xros Heart and or Blue Flare in their traits among them to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in the order. And then you're digicrossing for -2 if you have Shoutmon, Ballista, and Darulu. So you're playing this one also for 1. This one's a good way for you to search your deck. Most of the cards here are Xros Heart, with the one exception being Zigreymon being a Blue Flare. And then pretty much all the other 2 cards that we're running. This one, start of your turn, is good because if you know that your Digimon's gonna die, let's say they got pinged by Edamon and you're forced to swing and start the main phase, you can choose to delete the X3 to gain you that memory and the material save. That way the target of that swing is not there anymore. So that one, it's start of your turn is really interesting if you get to play around with it. Next up, we have 1 copy of Shoutmon King version. This was the BT10 one. It's a 5 cost 4k, crosses -2 with any card with Xros Heart in its traits. And then it's also treated as Shoutmon. So this one is a Shoutmon. When you're trying to meet certain digicross requirements that require that Shoutmon. And then it has on play, you may turn 1 card with digicross requirements from your trash to your hand. And then when you would digicross this turn, this Digimon may replace one of the digicross requirements. And then it has material save 1. So you get to, let's say, cross with him and another Digimon for 3, grab something with digicross requirements from trash, and then if you're gonna cross again and then you're missing a, let's say, a Starmon for your X4, you could use this one as the source to replace that Starmon. So it replaces itself when you're digicrossing that same turn. So this one's really good. Next we have the 1 copy of the BT12 Shoutmon King version. There's a 5 cost 4k, 80 volts for 2 over level 3 with save and text. And then on play, when digivolving, you may play 1 Takikudo, Yuamano, or Taguru Akashi from your hand without paying the cost. And then on deletion has save. And then you get to place 1 Digimon with save and its text from your trash under one of your Tamers. It digicrosses -2 for 1 Digimon with save and text. Most of the level 3s and then some of the 4s and the 5s and 6s have save and text, so you're able to cross with those, play out a Taiki, and then when it dies you get to save himself and something that has save and text and trash. So it's a good way for you to recycle those pieces that you haven't seen that were insecurity, or that were maybe like trash insecurity by an effect. You get to recycle those under one of your Tamers. This one, I think it's a good opener. If you see a rookie, him, and a Taiki and another Digimon with save, you can even the back for the rookie, cross for 3, play out the Taiki, and then do your search. So it's a good way for you to play out that Taiki for free. And you're basically having 2 bodies on the same turn. Next we have 4 copies of Turulumon. There's a 4 cost 4k. Evos for 2 over Xros Heart and traits, and then on play, if you have another Digimon or Tamer with a Xros Heart in its traits in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3k DP until the end of the opponent's turn. On deletion, save, and then inherit is your turn. While this Digimon has Shaman in its name, all your opponent's security Digimon get minus 2k DP. This is just a good way for you to remove any pesky floodgates, Psychmons, memory gain ones like the Chumon, Kakuwamons, or whatever it is that's in range for the minus 3k. You could hard drop this for 4 and then you minus 3k. So we're running this one at 4. Next up we have 4 copies of Ballistamon. This was a 4 cost 4k. Same thing, evos for 2 over level 3 with Xros Heart traits. Then opponent's turn, while you have another Digimon Tamer with Xros Heart traits, and play this Digimon gains blocker. On deletion, save, and then your turn, while this Digimon has Shaman in its name, it gains piercing. So this one's a good blocker that you could just hard drop if you have a Tamer or another Digimon. It'll gain blockers, a 4k blocker. If it dies, chomp blocker, you just save it under your Tamer. So run this one at 4. There is Shotman X2, but that one is very situational. The list is already pretty tight, so we're not running that one. I'd rather just run the regular Ballistamon. Next we're going on to our level 5s. We're only running 3, which is the 1 copy of the X5. It's a 10 cost 10k. It has secure attack +1, blocker, material save 3, and then it digicrosses -2 if you have Shotman, Ballista, Durulu, Starmon, and Sparrow. So this one's a free digicross if you have all the sources. So if you manage to have everything, you could cross for free, swing your 2 checks, play something else. It'll resend because of the reboot from Sparrowmon, and then you have a 10k blocker just there. In case he were to delete it, be deleted, you get to material save 3. So this one's really good. That's a good way for you to do those quick 2 checks if you see all the sources. So running this one at 1. Next we have 2 copies of Omni Shotman. It's an 8 cost 8k. It evos for 4 on top of a Shotman, but if not, it evos for 3 on a level 4. That's red and a blue. And then this one, if you're digicrossing, is also treated as a Shotman. So if you're missing a Shotman and this is on the field, you could use it, or if it's under a Tamer, you use it for digicross. And then when digivolving, if in case you do digivolve on top of a Shotman, delete one opponent's Digimon 4000 DP or less, and if Shotman is in this Digimon solution cards, delete 2 of your opponent's Digimon 4000 DP or less instead. So you get to pop 2 things if you have Shotman in source, if you evo on top of them. And then on deletion, save, and then inherit is your turn 1. While this Digimon has Shotman in its name, it gains secure attack +1. So this is a good way for you to give all your other Shotmans secure attack +1 in case they don't die when you cross, and let's say you pass turn. If it survives, next turn you're doing 2 checks with whatever Shotman you have. So this one we're running it at 2. Next we're going on to our level 6s. We are running 6 level 6s. We are running 3 copies of Shotman X7. It's a 14 cost 13k. It has rush, material save 4. On plays, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP, and then all turns for every 2 cards in this Digimon solution cards, it gains 1000 DP, and then digicrosses -2 for Omni Shoutmon, Sea Greymon, Ballistamon, Drulumon, Starmon, and Sparrowmon. This one is a good way for you to clear a stack that you know that they're waiting for you to swing, and then they're gonna ace you. You could just cross here. Even if you give your opponent 6 or 8 memory, or as little as 2 if you have all the sources, you get to delete something that's equal to then let's say his DP. If you have all your sources, you're at 16k Digimon, so you get to pop up to 16k, which is a Imperial Drum on Dragon mode, right? So you're able to pop that, and then it gains rush, so you get to swing the same turn if you manage to keep turn for if you're able to have everything, right? So then it being a blocker on your turn, assisting KDP blocker is really good. And so we're running this one at 3. Next we have 2 copies of Z Greymon, the only blue flare in the deck. It's aside from like the other, like just strictly blue flare, because the X7 is also Xros Heart blue flare, right? But this one running 2 copies. It's an 11 cost 11k. It was for 2 on top of a metal gray, but we don't run any metal grays here. And then we're not gonna digivolve on top unless we really have to. But if when digivolving you unsuspend this Digimon, then if a card with blue or Xros Heart in its traits is in this Digimon's solution cards, and your opponent has 2 more Digimon, you gain 2 memory. And then on deletion save, and then you may place 1 blue Greymon and 1 blue Birdramon from your trash under one of your Tamers with general in its traits, which we're not running any of the 2. And then on the opponent's turn, well, this Digimon has blue fairy in its trait and gains blocker, so it gives our X7 and X7 Superior Mode blocker. So we're running this one at 2 copies. Next, we have the 1 copy of Mervamon. It's at 11k, 12k. ED rolls for 4 on top of level 5. That's purple and black. And then while you would play this card, you can also place cards from your trash and Digivision cards for a Digicross. And then on play, when Digivolving, you may play 1 purple level 4 lower Digimon card or 1 level 4 lower Digimon card with a crosshair in its traits, which is the important part, from your trash without paying the cost. And then if Digicrossing, add 1 number to the cards you can play by this effect. Then all turns, while your Digimon with crosshair in their traits or with retaliation gain rush and blocker. And then this one, Digicross is -3 with 1 Digimon with crosshair in its traits, right? So you give your opponent 8, but you could cross from trash, so you could always put a spare 1 underneath and then give it reboot, right? In case you want to protect, you want to block and then it survives, or you did the Merva Cross version of the deck, you would gain so much memory off the Gravity Crushers and Lightning Rays that you can essentially cross for free, play out your 2 bodies. It could be 2 level 4s that search you or give you draws. Or if you need to clear the board or do minus CP, you could always play out like a Darulumon and a Ballista. But this one running the one copy, and then it's good that it gives all of our Digimon blocker. Unfortunately, if she were to leave the field, all of our Digimon lose that blocker. So this one we're running at 1. Next, this is running our level 7s. We're running 4. I'll first talk about the 2 copies of Shopmon X7 Superior Mode that we're running. This one's a 15 cost 17 DP Digimon. And then when you play this card from your hand by placing 1 Shopmon from play as a Digivision card of this Digimon, reduce the play cost by 1, and you may place cards in your trash as Digivision cards for a Digicross. And then on play, return all the Digivision cards of one opponent's Digimon to the bottom of its owner's deck in any order, and return that Digimon to the bottom of its owner's deck. And then your turn, our opponent's secret effect on option cards don't activate. And a Digicross -1, infinite amount of with Digimon with crosshair or blue and their traits with different card numbers. This one, I really feel like it is the big boss monster from the deck. It's 17k DP, the biggest DP that the game has so far. And then if you have a Shaman in play, you use as a cross material for you to use cards from trash. And also if you tap your Tamer, you get to use from under your Tamers and your hand, so you get to reduce the cost. It feels really great when you're Digicrossing this guy for 1, and then you get to strip all sources from your opponent, bottom deck all the sources, and then you bottom deck their Digimon. So if they have any protections, those protections are gone. Partition from Imperial is gone. Then you just bottom deck the Digimon, right? And then the fact that you don't activate options in security is great, so you don't get to die off a bomb, even in case you're checking with the 2 checks you get from like the Omni Shopmon. So this one running at a 2. Next, I am trying out 1 copy of the Shangri-Man Burst Mode Ace from BT17. It's an 8 cost 15k DP Digimon. It's a hand counter Blast Digivolve, which we won't be Blast Digivolving because there's no level 6s that are yellow that Eve on top of him. We'll more than likely just be hard dropping this to play out our Tamers. So then on play, when Digivolving, you may play 1 Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. Then one of your opponent's Digimon gets -5k DP for the turn for each of your Tamers. And then when attacking, by suspending up to 2 of your yellow Tamers, for each one, Digimon gets secure attack +1 for the turn as -5 overflow. So this one, like I mentioned, we will be just hard dropping it to play out Tamers and try to DP minus the opponent's board. When the opponent's single stack Digimon, they have it. If not, we could just DP minus something else. So this I'm running a copy of 1. And then the fact that we could suspend both of our cards if we do see them to get secure attack +2 sounds really interesting. Next, we're running 1 copy of the Galamon Crimson Mode Ace. It's also 8 cost, 15 KDP. This one we can actually digicross on top of the X7 because X7 is Shamon red and white, so it does meet the requirement. And then on play, when digivolving, delete up to 15 KDP total worth of your opponent's Digimon. Then when attacking once per turn, for every 10 total cards in both players' trashes a card of your opponent's security stack. So this is a good way for us to try to go for game. If we're pretty late into the game, they swing at us, we ace, blow up their board, the pass turn, and then we just swing, trash maybe 2 if we have 20 cards total. And then we just go for the game if they have 0 security. And then it's the same thing, overflow -5. That's it for all the Digimon. Next, we're going into the Tamers. We are running the 4 copies of Taiki Kudo, the 3 cost Tamer. Then on play, the real top 4 cards of your deck. 1 card with Crosshair and its traits among them to your hand. Plays 1 Digimon card with Crosshair and its traits among them under this Tamer. And then place the rest of the bottom of your deck in your order. And then your turn, when you will play 1 Digimon with the Xros Heart requirements, Digicards requirements, by suspending this Tamer, you may place cards from under your Tamers as Digimon cards for a Digicross. So this is what allows us to Digicross from underneath our Tamers. If we have the sources underneath, let's say a Zenjiro and a Akari, we could tap the Taiki to use those sources for Digicross. This is also searches us 4 cards deep, lets us add 2 cards. We will be whiffing on our aces and more than likely the Sea Greymon because that one's a blue flare, so it doesn't count. But everything else is fair game. We are able to grab it. A good thing to take note of is that if you open, you reveal NX4, NX3, and X5, and then Akari, you're gonna have to grab the Akari and to tuck one of the other Digimon because you really can tuck a Tamer underneath. Or if you open Akari, X3, Shot 1, and an X5, then you more than likely have, if you don't want to tuck in the other 2, you would just have to grab the Akari and then tuck the Shot 1, right? So you have that source under. So this is we're running it at 4. Next, we have 2 copies of the Akari. It's a 3 cost Tamer also. On play, you may play 1 Digimon from your hand or from under one of your Tamers while paying the cost. And then your turn, when you play Digimon with Xros Heart in its traits, by suspending this Tamer, draw 1. This is what allows us to just play out the Digimons for free. We play this for 3, we play out a 4 cost Digimon to do -3k to something. And then since we played it on our turn, we could tap him to give something -3k. And then also tap her to draw 1. And then if they hit in security, it triggers the effect, so we could actually play her out and play out another Digimon if you have it in source. So we're running this one at 2. Next, we have 3 copies of the Zenjiro. This one's a 3 cost also, same thing, but instead of playing out a Digimon, we're playing out a Ballista. And then when you play out a Digimon with a Crosshair in its traits, by suspending this Tamer, you gain a memory. This one's funny, when they hit it in security, we play it out and we just play out a blocker. It says kids are trying to go for game. This is a good way for you to like just suppress your opponent. So we're running this one at 3. Next, we have 2 copies of the Taiki Kiriha Nene Tamer from BT17. This is a 4 cost Tamer and has the start of your main phase. By placing 1 Digimon card with Xros Heart or Blue Flare in its traits from your hand under this Tamer, gain 1 memory and you draw 1. And then your turn, it has the same inherit as Taiki, where you will play a Digimon card with a Digicross requirement. By suspending this Tamer, you may place cards from one of your Tamers as Digimon cards for that Digicross. So this one is a good way for you to cycle your deck. You tuck something underneath to gain a memory and a draw. So this one, you are not able to play it off the Shaman Kim version just because it's not Taiki Kudo. It's both Taiki, Kiriya, and Nene. So this one you would have to drop it for 4. But we're only running 2. So if they hit in security, it's awesome. If not, turn 1, we could give them 4 and then we're set for the game. We're always going to get that guaranteed 1 memory. Next, finally, we're going into our options. We are running 2 copies of Final Crossblade. It's a 9 cost option and it has main, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. Then you may unsuspend one of your Shop 1 X7 Superior Mode cards and attack with player with it. And then security effect is delete one of your opponent's Digimon. This is just technically like a win more card, where if you did the X7 cross Superior Mode and it's still alive, and you, let's say you kept turn, you already had swung, clear security, you hard drop this for 9, pop anything if you need to. If not, you're just suspending your X7 and swinging at security for game. So this one could either be The one copy, if not, I would swap one copy for Heaven's Judgment, just because we have a lot of Digimon with different colors, so we're able to trigger that effect. But this is a good card for what it does. And then it's also like has Xros Heart in trade, so it's able to be searched by most of the searchers in the deck. Next, our final card of the deck is one copy of Crimson Blaze. Very good generic red card, where it's a 6 cost option. Reduce the memory cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each Digimon your opponent has in play. Then delete all your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less, and your opponent can play effects until the end of Digimon by effects until the end of the turn. So if you're playing with Digimon that pump out Digimon by effects, this would stop them from doing that, like D-Brigade, Numemon, other Digimon that do that. This hard stops them. Even if you know for sure that they're trying to play something, you could just, if you have a red source, play this for 6 and stop them from trying to play things out by effects. So that's it for the deck profile. I do enjoy it. It's a very fun deck to play. And then right now we'll be going into some games where we'll be showcasing some gameplay. And if you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and leave those down below. I'll make sure to read those, and then I'll see you in the games.